Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold, investment consultant, Mr. Money Talk. Well, nice night for Minnesota basketball last night, Pat.
Yes, and you know what I'm thinking about our Timberwolves being 6-6. They played a pretty easy schedule so far, right? They played Portland 3 times, they played Toronto, they played Charlotte. So they when you look at the schedule in about 12-game hunks, that's about as easy as it's going to be, I think, probably. So, and you're 6-6, and I think Ant's 45% 3-point shooting took a little hit last night as he went 0 for 9, and as a team, they shot 17% on threes last night. So, and
Yeah.
that's how you lose back-to-back games to the Portland Trailblazers, but also what happened to the defense? This was their calling card last year. Now they the other day they got beat scoring only giving up 95 points, but their defense is terrible too. Randall is I don't know. He's not much of a defender and he's not much of a ball mover and the whole thing is sloggy and they're 6-6, and the Knicks are 5-6. I just suggested on Twitter this could be a documentary on this, the gigantic trade that turned both teams into a couple of minnows. You know, it could be because the Knicks have played a fairly easy schedule too, and they can't finish. They cannot win a game at the end. So yeah, that was brutal last night. Terrible. I mean, go out there and get beat twice, especially when you're ahead of them, right? 33-23 right off the bat. First quarter, it looks like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, the fellas are interested tonight. And then they go out and get beat again. Thank God we got the Wild. We all knew they were going to be a powerhouse this year. Thank God we got the Wild, right?
So, where are we supposed to be here? Like, I keep preaching that we shouldn't be concerned about the Wolves, but then I'm watching last night, and to your point too, I think what concerns me is not that they're just struggling, but the necessary attitude adjustment has
Yes.
yet to come. So, like, where are we supposed to be with this in an 82 game season where you did lose back to backs to Portland and you look very disinterested for large portions?
Yeah, it's when you're not making shots, you can look very disinterested. But I mean, Ant took 25 shots again last night, I believe, wasn't it? 25 again, and
Hmm.
he thinks he's the entire show. He's not really moving the ball at all. He just kind of fires it up there. McDaniels can't do anything offensively and gets fouls all the time. And Randall I don't know what to think about him, but he doesn't fit. That's for sure. Not what they're doing right now, anyway. So I don't know. They tried Dillingham for what 7-8 minutes, and he was okay, but that was it. The coaches, nobody's really got in. All he's offered us on the rotation and not playing any of the young guys are cliches. So I don't think anybody's gotten into the. Has anybody gotten Connolly quoted on this thing? Has he said anything about his which has to be disappointment so far?
No, I mean he's mostly just trying to figure out.
His
I mean
own
he sat last night for just back to back being old and resting, but yeah, he's trying to figure out his own game right now.
No, I mean
Because
Tim. I was
oh
kind of wondering
oh
about Tim
Tim
Connolly.
Connolly. Okay, no,
Oh,
Yeah,
I
wonder
don't
what
think I don't have not seen him say anything
he's
publicly,
not
but
a big panic guy, that's for sure. But I don't know. It's uh, I was saying, we were all agreed that in '04 they had the great run to the final, and the next year was a disaster. Uh, and we were saying that can't happen again. That cannot happen again. But it got flip fired that last time, and I don't think it'll get Finchy fired. But and it can't get as bad as it was that year. But you know what? Though I looked back at that, and we tried to blame 2004-5 on Spreewell, right? because I have to feed my family.
Mm-hmm.
He played 81 games here. It was not like he was sloughing off or something. He played 81 games, and his numbers weren't quite what they were the year before, but it wasn't that bad. It
Yeah.
was just it just something happened, and I don't know what's your feeling, fellas? Should we be in panic or should we just be concerned? Or where are we between concerned or
Concern.
panic?
I will say that those were horrible losses, and then the way that the Heat game, they didn't lose three
Yeah,
straight games the entire season until the Western
yeah.
Conference Finals last year, and
Yes,
they just lost three to a Heat team without Jimmy Butler, and
yes.
then a Blazers team that is not going to be anywhere near the playoffs when the season's over. So it's bad, but I think people are reacting as if they're 2-9 right now. They are 6-6. They
Hmm.
did beat the Nuggets a week and a half ago. They did fight the Mavericks. Like if they hit a couple 3-pointers last night, they probably get away with a win, and it covers up some of the stink. There's definitely some bad things. I don't think it's time to put Chris Finch on a hot seat. We all need to probably take a deep breath. But yeah,
Well, and I did see Dane Moore suggest, and he's probably right, that the NBA wanted Ant and the Timberwolves in this stupid tournament, that whatever the hell we call it. We named the tournament after basically the Arabs who were trying to take over American sports, right? Is it What are they the sponsor?
it's
Somebody
how
like
do you pronounce it? Is it the Emirates, right?
Emirates or something? No, yeah, whatever.
I mean, it's an
But
airline. Emirates,
yeah,
it's
Emirates
Emirates
Airline,
airline. Yeah.
and it's idiotic, but they obviously wanted Ant in it with the schedule they gave them, and now now there's they're not that's not going to occur or whatever. I don't know how many teams end up getting into the tournament, 8 or something. I don't know how it works.
So they do, yeah. It's like 8, and then then they play down to a semi. Then the 4 play in Vegas. So you get the
Okay.
semifinal in Vegas,
Yeah,
and
well, they
then
aren't.
the
They're
finals.
not. Our fellas aren't going to be there. Well, actually, only one of the games counts, right? We didn't have the goofy floor last night, did we? Did we change the floor?
No, it's
No,
Tuesdays
no,
and
no.
Fridays.
Oh, the
The first
tournament was
the first
Tuesdays and
round
Fridays.
of is Tuesdays and Fridays.
So when you're playing back to backs in Portland, I didn't watch. I can't even remember what I was watching last night. I was just swearing at the television. But did they have the same stupid floor that they had the night before? Or did they
No.
go back
No,
to
they
the?
changed the
So
floor
you have
back.
how much money are we spending on floors here? This is idiotic, for God's sakes.
It's a lot of
This
work
is
too. They didn't even give them a day between games. Like, hey, just go
no.
change the floor and stay up all night, basically.
Okay. Meanwhile, on the historic floor at Williams Arena, where we got rid of the white floor once Patino left and we went back to a real floor, 14 points in the first half for the Gophers last night against mighty North Texas, which is
Yeah.
like picked in the bottom 3 of whatever conference they're in. My friend Phil Rogers, the ball writer who was in Chicago for every years, he'll be very happy. He's a North Texas graduate, very proud North Texas
Wow.
graduate. But a lot of guys hurt. Obviously, Garcia trying to hurt play, but I don't think Ben's going to make her. I think this is they're picked 18th in an 8-team league. It's just hard to bring a guy back if they finish 18th. I mean,
No.
nobody's ever finished 18th in anything, have they?
So
You know.
no, it's a good point. Let's say they finish. Let's say it's a train wreck.
Hmm.
Is there another like who do you hire to make it better, or is it more just they can't pay
Changing.
anyone? So
Yeah,
what's the difference?
well, that is the difference. If you're not going to pay 5 million a year for your basketball coach, if you're not going to do that, then yeah, why change? You're right. I mean, why bother if you're not going to bring? I don't think Eric Musselman would move after 1 year at Southern Cal, but then he might. But you need a guy like that who knows where the bodies are buried and how he can get in this new era of changing your team every year. You're going to get a higher level of vagabond than with him. And it is funny. Yesterday is signing day, right? And but they don't call it sign. What do they call it now? It's not the
Letter,
same
is
as
it letter of
not a
letter
letter
of
of
No,
intent.
intent?
it's
Not a
been
letter of
changed to
intent.
some
It's some kind of a
hoity-toity
contract
ridiculous.
you
Yeah.
sign. Yeah, whatever it is.
I like you, you like
But
me contract.
they can, like we found out already. You can sign and then transfer. And that's what that Big Evans, thank God, he transferred. He's now at Grand Canyon, not playing. Kentucky supposedly gave him, was it Kentucky or Louisville gave him this huge
Louisville.
amount of money, and he never played for them. And last I saw, he was at Grand Canyon, which is a Christian school of that's basically uh, under really the feds are looking at them for the way they charge people, and it's mostly an online school down there in Arizona. Although they just let him in one of those conferences out west, but that's where he ended up. But even if you sign, it's not like you don't even have to stay 1 year if you don't want to. If you get a better deal, you can just change and go someplace else. So it's a signing day ain't exactly what it used to be.
And recruiting too. So, but here's my thing with Ben. Okay, you blow him out, but it feels
Yeah.
like now every last cent that you really have, you're putting towards football.
Yes.
So are you going to like? Are they going to put a priority on trying to build the basketball program back up here, or is it all going to PJ and that's where their priority is now? So like it's a different world than when it was just this sort of academic and
Yes.
sports, and we wanted to be
Oh
good in
God.
sports.
Yeah.
This feels like a complete money play. So my question is, how much are you going to put into basketball if you do fire Ben? Because to Phil's point, who's going to come here then?
Yeah. That's and I agree
So
100%. It's not.
does it make sense?
You do. I don't think we got the basketball booster who's going to write out a check for millions and say build up the program here because I don't think that guy exists. The basketball. You go to the I went to the opener, and first of all, I was the average age of the fans there. It was these are fans who watch Musselman's teams, and that's 50 years ago. And it's an older crowd. It's not a money crowd, and it's a bad situation. It was it's been a bad situation before Ben got here, but it wasn't this bad when Patino was here. But I don't know if it still would be. I don't know how Patino's team is in New Mexico. He was doing really well in the portal the first couple of years because he just brought in anybody he wanted to. But yeah, I don't know what you're going to do. I think it's dead. I do think they need a new 8,000 seat building over there for everything, but where are they going to get the money for that? First of all, if you do that, you got to blow up Williams Arena. I've said bring in 2 fighter jets from Duluth and blow it up, but that's the only way to get it off the map. But yeah, I don't know what you're going to do. I have no idea what it's just a disaster.
Yeah. What is your level of panic about JJ McCarthy? Not a surgery.
Hmm.
It was a procedure, a PRP, some sort of injection to
Yes.
promote faster and better healing.
It is What's intriguing here is how it occurred in the first place, right? It was like a bad step or something, was it? It was not a hit. It never came from a hit, right? Never
We
came
don't
from.
know.
We never saw his leg bent
We don't know where it came from.
in a pile or anything like that. We don't know where it comes from. If it's a chronically bad knee, I mean, they've fixed a lot of them, but I don't know. It certainly makes it harder to say, okay, Sam, thanks a lot. We had a pretty good, we went 11-6. We made the playoffs. We got beat in the first round. Thank you. Too bad you turned it over 31 times, but that's okay. But this makes it harder, right? Makes it harder to say he's our guy because he's going to be ready to play next year. So obviously the knee has got issues, right? I don't know. That it's
Well, it
Yeah,
just
was
it's
was it
a
chronic?
hundred percent. Yeah.
it
Is it
it
chronic?
was so he started to do some work. It swelled up, but here's where there is a ton of confusion. Is so it started to swell up. So they decided let's have a procedure, but it was like arthroscopic to go around and snoop around. That's a surgery. They
Mm-hmm.
got in there and they're like, okay, it's not that bad. They did the PRP injection. But what they don't want to tell you is they had to get to lift the hood of the car. They had to go in and look there. So like
Yeah.
they did do a surgery that was then followed by a procedure. But the semantics are that the Vikings were very concerned that this would all lead to, oh my God, he's dying, and so they're like,
Yeah.
let's just try and not talk about it.
There's the
Yes.
propaganda machine, and I get it. Like it's not the end. It doesn't sound like it's a 4-alarm fire here, but the propaganda machine is, hey,
Yes.
this should not even be a talking point. I don't even know why we're addressing this.
Here's the deal. After all of this is said and done with the knee, we don't know if he's any good or not. These high draft choices are quarterbacks. Some of them turn out great, like the guy in Washington who nobody expected him to be the star of this group. Did they? Did anybody think that he was supposed to be the project, right? Daniels, wasn't he supposed to be
Nah,
the project kind
he
of?
was pretty highly touted. He was pretty highly
Okay.
touted.
He was, but
Not Caleb, but he was highly touted.
yeah, it wasn't Caleb. But you know, just because he led a team that ran the ball a whole lot and had fantastic defense to the national championship doesn't mean he's a player. We don't know yet. We can't just assume that these guys are going to be great because some of them make it and some of them don't, and that's the way it is in quarterback. Now he's going to be better than Trey Lance. I think we can agree on that. But who knows? Who knows if he's going to be? You see him out there in practice, and you think he's magnificent in a structured situation, but really we don't know if he's a player.
Yeah, I think he's good, but to your point, he has to overcome a knee thing, and he has to overcome having never played in the NFL yet,
Yes.
and now being a year behind the other quarterbacks in that draft class.
Yes,
It's
yes,
a
that's
thing.
true.
It's a thing.
It is, and yeah, I mean, what this year was, that 5-0 is a nice cushion to have when you go into this. To start off 5-0 is a nice cushion, and they're going to make the playoffs. But I'm not sure. When you lose Darrisaw, you're starting to get some guys hurt. I'm McCarthy, but when you lose Darrisaw and you start getting injured, if they keep getting injuries, yeah, I don't know, but we can't. My point again, you just can't assume that this guy's going to be. If he's healthy, he's going to be a great player. We don't know that. They can tell us that, but are they going to tell us? We're not sure. Are they going to draft up like they did? Say we're not sure. Of course, it could be worse. You could be in Atlanta and having the guy you drafted eighth overall over there with a clipboard. They don't have a clipboard anymore. They got an iPad, but the teams have
Baseball cap
done.
and a clipboard, yeah.
Yeah, baseball. Yeah. Has anybody seen Penix? Is he alive? Does anybody know? Does he stand over there? And
I don't know. He's pretty. I did see. I don't know. I think it was Florio. It felt like a Florio piece. There is some steam that if Brock Purdy's contract demands get too out of hand this offseason, that the Niners could pivot and trade for Kirk Cousins.
really, well,
That's a thing that's being talked about on
if I was
NFL
them,
Internet today.
if I was them, I wouldn't pay him more than 30. I might pay him 30,
He's gonna
25 or
want
30.
he's gonna want Dak Prescott money.
Yeah,
He's
I'm
gonna want
not
that
giving him
60.
I'm not. If you give that to Brock Purdy, you're idiots. You're idiots. It's who he plays with. It's not. It's not him. He's mediocre, uh, in my opinion. He's a product of the system, and I certainly would not pay him. The worst news, though, for any football team was Aaron Rodgers telling the Jets he'll probably come back for another year. Right?
Oh man.
How would you like to be that train wreck?
They deserve it.
Uh,
The Jets deserve what the Jets get, Pat.
Yes, they are. The New York football right now, man. You got the Yankees and the Mets and base. But it might be the only baseball town in America except for St. Louis, right? The New York right now, because you got the Yankees and the Mets, and then you got the Giants and the Jets.
It's about the widest gap I feel like between baseball and
yes,
football we've seen in a while.
yes,
So
that's true. Speaking of of our fighting twinks. Have we? How much have we talked about the changes that we encountered Tuesday? We weren't on Wednesday.
Yeah, we
Uh,
actually, you know what? Because we do have to run. Let's do
okay.
that. Let's talk more about that tomorrow. Because Dex and
Okay.
Judd a bit. We're out the Dave St. Peter press conference.
Mhm.
Let's do a fuller discussion on that tomorrow.
Probably Jeremy Zoll, and that's the most interesting part of the whole deal. I think is this very bland human being is now your general manager. So we'll see, and I guess we do know why Thad Levine decided to pursue other opportunities. He was told he wasn't going to get the GM job. So
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
we'll talk about that tomorrow. Yes.
Sounds
All
good.
right.
All right,
All
Pat.
right. See you.
Thanks, Pat.
Reusse Unchained, presented by Josh Arnold.